I am DYANAROZAY, and I bring a unique commentary to your favorite reality TV shows and whatever is popping on social media. If you are not a subscriber, please become one. Hit that notification bell too, that way you don't miss any of my videos. I go by DYANAROZAY on all platforms, and I appreciate every single one of y'all for rocking with me. What's up, Supreme Team? Welcome to the channel. Come on in, everyone. I need y'all to let me know that you can hear me, child, because there's all kinds of stuff to be happening to the audio. So if you can hear the sound of my voice, let me know. Drop your city, your state, your country, your island, your continent, wherever you are from, into the chat so we can talk about this last episode of the reunion, okay? Come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's put myself up. Ooh, my face is shiny. How are y'all? Come on in. I'm back. We are talking about RHOA in this season finale, child, and how Andy Cohen. Listen, Shamea might have been the worst one. She might have got tagged several times by everybody on the show. Loud and clear. Thank you, Philadelphia. I appreciate you. Listen, we are doing a late night chat, or what's late for me, because I don't typically come on this late. But we're doing a late night chat on RHOA. I think I had the wrong season up. I think I might have put season 10 instead of season 16. But y'all know the drill. Y'all know what it is. I'll edit it later. But we are talking about this. Actually, this last episode was it was the best of all of them. I know everybody complains about it being like 3 parts, but the third part was the best part, bringing on the guys. There was a couple of things that I saw that was out of pocket. A couple had to do with Shamea, but there was also something that had to do with Drew. Come on in. Welcome, Kimberly. How are you? Nice to see you from Chicago. Okay, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you. So yeah, we're going to get into it. Come on, everybody. Come on in. Don't be shy. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. So listen, RHOA, it delivered. I was hoping that the cliffhanger we got last week, where Andy asked Porsha, what did Shamea's mother do that was so egregious? I was hoping that it would come out, and it did. It came out. I forgot who the first person who dropped it on YouTube was. If y'all remember who dropped the tea on YouTube, put it in the chat. Because for whatever reason, I forget his name. But he does talk to the RHOA ladies. But they ended up sharing that Shamea's mama did buy a daycare, bought the daycare that Porsha's mama, Diane, had went into foreclosure. So a lot of people were saying they didn't know if it was true or not, and they were calling Porsha all kinds of names. But I'm going to tell you, if your friend, the way she explained it, she said, not only did Shamea's mom know that my mother was having a hard time, that the daycare went into foreclosure, but Shamea's mama bought it. And then on top of all of that, her mother didn't even know until they were driving past the daycare and they saw them outside changing out the old sign and putting up, I guess, the name of Shamea's mother's daycare. So that was effed up. Now, when Porsha admits this or says this on stage, Shamea tried to play it off a little bit. She was like, no, it didn't happen like that. That's the first thing she said. And then she said, they weren't even friends then. They weren't friends for a long time after that, or before that. And Porsha said, no, that's a lie. They were friends. And then Shamea just stopped talking. Shamea looked so bad this season. I think this is the worst I've ever seen anyone come on. This was bad. Okay? Come on in, everyone. Hit the like button. Share the video. What did y'all think? Talk to me in the comments, child. What did y'all think of that moment with Shamea and Porsha saying that it started with their mothers? because everybody was attacking Diane, calling her all kinds of names. Nasty foot, this and that, and you a hoe, and your daughter a hoe. That's a lot to get over. I mean, when someone does that to your mama and your kids or whatever. I think they were young. I think they were still children. At least that's how they made it seem on stage. So come on in, everybody. Welcome to the chat. What's up for Sean for show? I love to see it. That was one of the things. Take the poll at the top of the chat too. I'm asking which lady got dragged the most on the episode, okay? So take the poll on the top of the chat. But anyway, I thought that was bad, and I think that the fact that they were able to even maintain any type of friendship where they were going to each other's weddings or wishing each other well after that was actually good. I understand why Porsha's mother would not like Shamea, maybe, but Shamea didn't stand up well. She didn't show herself to have good character or values in this show. Okay. What else happened? They talked about the daycare. Porsha said that not only was Shamea talking about her with the castmates, she was also talking to their private group of friends. She said there was 2 people that had come to her and repeated verbatim what the shit that people in the cast was coming to her and saying. So she said at the end of the day, it was a problem. And then if that wasn't enough, Porsha ends up saying that Shamea, when Shamea was like, you could have ruined my engagement. Porsha said, no, you could have ruined your own engagement. I kissed Candy at the club, and at the same time, you were tonguing down Candy at the club. So if you were engaged, ho, you forgot, not me. So she basically made it seem like it all happened around the same time. That was very revealing, because if y'all remember when she was saying you and Phaedra, when Shamea was saying you and Phaedra could have ruined my relationship, right? Come on in. What? Wait? Yes, you heard me. So basically a couple of things happened. Come on in, y'all. We are talking about it. There was so much tea that was given in this episode, and unfortunately for Shamea, it was almost the kiss of death. Every time Shamea would say something to, garner some sort of sympathy, it got knocked all the way down. But basically, a couple of things. Number one, it turns out that Shamea's mama might be a little cutthroat when it comes to business. What's up, girl? Girl, what dates? Welcome to the chat. Everybody hit the like button, share the video. I got y'all comments coming up on the screen too. So just talk to me and let me know what y'all think. Shamea's mama is very, very cutthroat. Shamea might be a little cutthroat too, just based on what I saw. Okay, I'm gonna get to it in a little further. Come on in, welcome. I appreciate y'all. But she basically said, you could have ruined my engagement, her engagement to Gerald, okay? Moneybags, Mr. Moneybags himself. You could have ruined my engagement out here on television, spreading stories about me, kissing Candy in the club, or possibly dating Candy and Todd, having a threesome. And Porsha said, what's the big deal? I kissed Candy in the club. You kissed Candy in the club. And at the end of the day, since I know what you was really doing, you would have been the one to ruin your engagement, not me. Not me, is what she said. And when she said that, Shamea's head dropped. She said nothing else. Nothing else. Okay? In other words, don't make me tell everything. Okay? It was bad. Yeah, Shamea's mama is gangsta. Okay? Not a lot of people would have the guts to do what her mother did. Scooping up that damn daycare when it went into foreclosure. Didn't tell her anything about it. She found out when she was driving down the street and Porsha saw her mother's, or her mother saw her own marquee coming off the building, and Shamea's mama put her marquee up. That's how she found out. That was pretty shocking. I haven't seen it yet, but Porsha could have exposed her a long time ago. She could have, but that's not what friends do. That's why this is so significant, because it really was Shamea who was being dirty and behind the back. Come Come on in. Porsha's putting the business on Front Street. I mean, she's kind of asked for it. What's up, Trinidad and Tobago? Nice to have you. Like daughter, like mama, they both tried to act so decent. Who tried to act decent? Are you referring to Porsha and her mother or Shamea and her mother? Because this is a new look. This is a new insight, okay? I heard someone say the other day, I think she's like a spirituality coach. She said, the dirtiest kind of people are the ones that will hang around anybody. She said, when people are, you don't like someone, she said, you won't hang around them because your spirit won't allow you to. But somebody who could smile in your face, pretend to be your friend, you know what I'm saying? Set you up. So for the okie doke, she said, those are the kind of people that are most dangerous because they don't have any type of barometer. And she was right, because think about how this season played out. We are all talking about Porsha. Everybody's talking about Porsha, but Shamea, with all the shit she's been holding on to for years, at least that's what she's saying. I didn't know, and I felt this way, and crying and shit. She was the one who literally was on screen, twerking, popping, locking, my friend, my bed, She was doing all that shit, and then literally trying to set her up for the okie doke later. What was the point? She was actually the most egregious. She was the one who did the worst stuff. And that's on fact. I'm telling you right now, okay? Somebody who can laugh and joke and make you think that y'all done got over the hump, and then later on spread it to every single body about how they're going to take you down. Child, that's the first thing I thought of. I was like, ooh, if you're going to be her friend, child, you got to be prepared. You got to be prepared, because yikes, okay? But she went through all of that. They talked about the wedding shit again, which in my opinion at this point, it does not matter. If you got over it, you got over it. Whatever reason she keeps bringing it up. Now I'm also going to say this. Kelly, I don't know. I saw a new side to Kelly. I don't know if I like Kelly very much. Oh, y'all are saying, ouch. Okay. Fashawn said, ouch. Are you talking about me, what I said about Shamea? I think that's a horrible thing to be. And folks don't believe Britt when she said that Shamea was acting and went straight to Miami to party. I mean, Shamea said it. She said that she was at the airport. She called and asked for her mother and her children to come out, but you were sitting at the bar drinking. And I agree with Shamea. I agree with Britt. Like, damn, it's hard to watch someone go through all those emotions and then, turn it around. Hold on, child. Y'all are coming in fast. Shamea and her mom didn't talk about Porsha and her mom. That was Porsha's mom talking about Shamea first. Well, Leslie, I don't know if you heard, but Shamea's mama isn't who people think she is. It takes a lot to call someone your friend and then behind their back purchase property that went into foreclosure. At the very minimum, let them know. But that's pretty dog dirty. That's dog dirty. Okay? So I understand why Porsha's mom and Shamea's mom isn't friends anymore. That was a hurtful thing to do. And I think that would be true for most people. But either way, whether you thought she was talking about her behind her back or not, it was Shamea who did all the talking about Porsha behind her back. Let's see. Honestly, I saw through her while everyone had hyped her up because of her wealth. I saw that the move. Okay. I think I came in about episode 2 or 3 and said, ooh, Shamea she's moving funny. That's what I thought. Shamea did a live today and she still thinks she did nothing wrong. I think that just proves my point. That just proves my point. Porsha's mom says that a dog that carries, beware of the dog that carries the bone, is what she said. Shamea's mom also has a criminal past for fraud. Yikes. Allegedly. I don't know, but wow. Okay. People, they grow and they move on, right? I thought that Porsha's mother only said, watch out for the person that brings you the bone. She said, you have to watch out for Shamea. Be careful of the dog that carries the bone. She did say that. Um, I watched the entire show. I watched the entire season and I watched the last episode. But they were really friends. Like, people throw that word around a lot. I don't think the moms were really friends. I think that they were cordial because of their daughters. No. According to both Shamea and Porsha, they were true friends. They hung out, they stayed at each other's house, they were in the same business together. This is stuff that I read and I've heard them talk about. They were friends, and that's how the girls became friends, from what I'm understanding. So they used to talk to each other about their businesses. And according to Porsha, her business went into foreclosure and she shared that with Shamea's mom. That is how she knew to go on down to the courthouse and purchase the property on the first Tuesday of the month. Okay. On the first Tuesday of the month, she drove on down there and said, bitch, I got this. Okay. Right. It was not Porsha's mom's business anymore. But I think, Leslie, you can see the problem here, right? Or you're okay with it. I don't know. Some people might not think it's a big deal. I would say, if you're my friend and I'm crying on your shoulder and telling you, child, I think I got to let this business go. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to go into debt. I got a whole lot of shit going on. And you rub my back and say, girl, go on ahead and do it, child. I understand. I know you're going through some hard times. And then I drive down the street and see your name on the building and my shit being taken down. I'm a feel away. And thinking about it also like this, that was already an established daycare. There isn't a whole lot of, there wasn't a whole much she had to put into it. Porsha's mama had already gotten everything together. It would have been cleared by the state or whoever comes in for inspection. That's a lot. What's up? Hey, everybody. Hey, everybody. You said that Shamea expressed remorse. She went live on TikTok apologizing to everybody. Really? I didn't see that. I would have to go look at that if there's a video of it. People got blinded by her $9 million home. Porsha and Simon actually brought their home before Shamea moved into her mansion, so there was no competition. TR, I didn't believe there was competition either. I kept telling y'all since before the show even came on this season, years ago, I've been saying, I don't understand this whole conversation that's going around with Porsha. Porsha Ben had money in her pocket. She literally was the sweetheart of Bravo. They were giving her job after job after job. When she quit, they were so shocked. Andy got into her comment section and said, you are welcome back anytime. I'm going to miss you. Now, despite the fact there were a lot of people who cannot stand her, a lot of bloggers who were saying she will never be allowed back on Bravo, it was all a lie. It was all a lie. But listen, a lie spreads faster than the truth, and people were stumping the ground and loving it. I don't know. That wasn't a friendship to me. Anyway, long story short, Andy Cohen, let me talk about Kelly first, because Kelly actually surprised me. Shamea and Porsha, even if it isn't in the best place right now, their friendship, and it may never go back to where it was, you know what I'm saying? At least everybody on that stage should have stayed the hell out of it, because there's so much history there that you really don't want to involve yourself. And I thought it was just a little odd that little Kelly was basically making comments to instigate what Porsha and Shamea had going on the stage. I didn't like that at all. And I'm looking at Kelly sideways from this point forward, because the OGs, Phaedra and Cynthia, they shut the hell up. They said nothing. Even Drew, all of them stayed quiet. Kelly, on the other hand, even Angela, Kelly, on the other hand, I thought she was doing too much. I didn't like it. For me, the foreclosure mean it belongs to, I'm assuming you're saying that it was free game. Okay. That's okay. Porsha did say they were BFFs. She did. Hold on. For me, it means that it was owned by the bank, so anyone can purchase it. Now, let's just say Shamea's mom told Diane she would still be mad. Okay. I still think, and again, I get what you're saying completely, but for me, I still think that it takes a special kind of person to pull a move like that. There's just some shit you don't do. You can break up with your husband or whatever and be moving along about your business, but you're not expecting your best friend to be like, well, you broke up with him, you're not together anymore. So, he's free game. I'm going to fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want that to happen. And I think business is your baby. You put a whole lot of time and hard work and energy into that. And I think it's the same deal. Now, like I said, I understand that some people may not see it like that, but it can be. You know what I mean? Someone said it is a betrayal. It's a betrayal, queen. Okay. Yes, I agree that Kelly, we kept saying little remarks for show. Kelly needs to move. Kelly needs to learn how to shut the hell up sometime. Okay. So yeah, I totally get it. Yes, it does. It did belong to the bank, but there is a little common courtesy that people should, offer. I think that would have been okay, especially if they were as close as they said they were. What is up, Lady D Keys? Thank you for coming through. Miss Lady D Keys is volunteering her time. If y'all don't mind, please give her a shout out and a hello. I like that example, Diana, but guess what? Some tricks would still F your ex. You're right. I understand. I'm just saying, if that trick was somebody I called a friend, that trick would be a friend no more. Okay. And I come from a generation of people who, if I'm not your friend, if I'm not a friend of the mama, my kids aren't a friend of their kids. The grandkids can't be a friend of their kids. It's a long list of fuck yous. We're going to go all the way down the generational line. Okay. So that's how I roll. So the fact that Porsha and Shamea could continue in their friendship says a lot, even after what happened between the mamas, because that it takes a lot. So when her mother is sitting there saying, girl, I don't know, beware of Shamea because I don't F with her. I get it, is all I'm saying. I get it. Little pictures should be seen, not heard. Okay. Listen, that's how I felt about it. And according to Andy, he might have felt the same way, child. Andy tried to give Shamea a little advice because I think she might have had the worst season he has ever seen. He literally said to her, Shamea, now that this is all done, little bit of advice. Maybe next time when you are having problems with someone on the cast, go to them directly. Don't go around them talking to everybody. Because she said, he was like, what would you do different? She was like, well, I wouldn't talk to everybody else. I would do this. He was like, good idea. And he actually says that to her. Don't talk to everybody else. Keep it to yourself or talk to them directly. That way you don't get yourself in this kind of trouble. Because I think that it really hurt him. It really hurt Andy kind of that Porsha and Shamea broke, their friendship broke up in the first season. He even asked Cynthia to give advice. Child, it was a whole thing. Porsha, the moms were friends first, and then Porsha was friends with Shamea's sister first. Okay, hey Sonia. Child, I don't know. I'm just listen. Y'all came over here to hear my perspective. I'm trying to tell you, child. I don't know. I thought it was heartbreaking. At the end of the day, Porsha said, "Listen, I was at the bottom. I was at the lowest of the low." She said, I have no room to try to make things up with Shamea. I'm done. And Shamea said, well, this is where we differ because I would have done this for you. And Porsha said, I don't give two shits. Okay. So that's how that ended. Next, we ended up talking to Drew. I don't believe Shamea. She will continue dogging Porsha to Candy and Kelly. She already gave Kelly the ammunition to come after Porsha next season. Kelly wants to take Porsha down. I believe you. I'm not buying the fact that she don't speak up. This is her. Yeah. This is different, right? I agree with you. I think that Shamea has a huge personality. I think that she is very, very vocal. I think she was going in and out between pretending to be a victim or playing the victim. She was all the things, child. Like I said, it takes a special personality to be able to do that. And according to this spiritual advisor I've been following, they said those are the type of personalities those are the worst kind of people. That's exactly what she said. They're the worst kind of people because typically when you don't like somebody, you try to stay away from them, all the things, right? But she said a person that'll smile in your face, okay, make you think that everything's cool and then wait for a time to, pounce, is they're the worst kind of people. So anyway, they also end up talking to Drew. Drew was the last person of the cast that they got to speak with. Andy had asked Drew about the kids, and they played the scene where her mother said that the kids are different, and Drew started crying. And she said, "Well, my kids are in therapy now." I did not know that Drew's dad was a pediatrician, but she said that he was a very well-known pediatrician in Chicago. And they played two things. Drew said that her children are in therapy, and that she can see that there is a difference with them. But she also talked about Ralph, basically saying that he took her mama out of financial ruin because the mother spent all of the father's money. Now that was a family secret, I'm assuming. Drew did not like that was put out there, but I think that was when Ralph was trying to make it seem like both her mother and Drew were bad with money, that he's the one who takes care of everything. And I think that was the reason why he put it out there. Like, listen, out of everybody in the family, I'm the one who helped them with X, Y, and Z, right? Drew also said that Ralph has been spreading his schlong about town, inviting women into the house, into his bachelor basement pad, okay? And she said that she was able to figure it out through the manifesto. She also said that the girl showed up at her kid's school, and that the girl came up and gave her attitude, talking about, "Who are you?" Now, I don't know how Drew let this woman get away with all that shit, but everybody on stage seemed to, sympathize with Drew and what she had going on. Ralph is messy, child. I agree. They also talked about everybody calling Drew a liar this season. That's when Kelly gets involved again. And she said her reason for calling Drew a liar was that when Drew came to her Ballman event, she was supposed to buy something in the name of charity. She did not. Drew said that she purchased something later because it needed to be, I guess, fitted or something like that. And Kelly said, you never did. So she's sticking with that. She said Drew never bought anything for charity. Who knows, though? I mean, Kelly has some nerve at the end of the day. That's how I feel. Perhaps Drew could not afford to purchase something because she's going through a divorce. Kelly should know what that looks like since she's being evicted and all kinds of shit. Okay. Let's see. Ralph didn't lie. Drew, she did file unemployment. I did a story about that. I forgot her name. I think it's Reality talked about it. But she said Drew filed unemployment last year. She also took out loans against the mortgage and defaulted. I don't care what anyone says. That purse that she had was fake. Child. I looked for that purse high and low. That purse does not exist except for Amazon, okay? She does not have $6K for a purse. Yeah. Ralph is bitter. The handbag designer came for Shamea. I don't know. I think the handbag designer, she got a little free promotion by not trying to dog either one of them necessarily, but it brought a lot of attention to her bag, and I'm sure people were buying it. So I think she actually played the okie doke on everybody, but that bag is not hers. That bag does not exist anywhere. The bag that Drew had does not exist anywhere for her line. Okay. It's not couture. It's not at any of the designer stores. It's not nowhere. It's she has a very distinct handbag, and Drew was not carrying it. What else went down? Let's see. They also asked about the album, or no, excuse me, they talked about Drew saying this album is going to pay for PJ's entire college. Okay. Yeah, I agree. This album is going to pay for PJ's entire college. They asked Porsha, how did she feel about that? Porsha said it was cringy for Drew to say, but she did say No, I have not heard Ralph's song. Is it any good? Tell me. Tell me if you think it's any good. But she did say that Shamea put some stank on it when she had brought the story to her, okay? The dog that carried the bone. She said she carried the bone to her. She said Shamea put a lot more on it than what actually played out in the scene. But she said it was cringy nonetheless, okay? A lot of people are thinking that means something. Drew was trying to dog Porsha by saying that. Her exact words was, why is Porsha acting so crazy, right? When the way these royalties are set up, this album's going to pay for PJ's entire college. She was trying to strike at Porsha, period. But it is what it is. He's taking shots at Drew. Can he sing? Can he sing? Now, here's where things get a little ugly because Andy did not hold back. This was questions that he asked her last season about her, about Drew and Ty. So he asked again. He said, listen, child, those text messages were released. Okay, we all had an opportunity to read them. Apparently, you have been on the phone for about 3,000 minutes. Drew said, 3,000 minutes isn't anything. In what lifetime is it 3,000 minutes something? It's an auto tune. She was definitely being shady. Okay, so she said, listen, it wasn't anything. They're just friends. She doesn't know why people are making this such a big deal. Then they asked about the guy named Black. She said that they were just friends too. Again, she throws in this line about how she likes a man with a certain physique, like Ralph. And then Porsha, she said, I wouldn't fuck with anything like Dennis. I like a certain physique. And Porsha said, listen, that guy Black has a similar physique to Dennis. So what are you talking about? Okay, so it was an auto tune. She said she wasn't mad. She said it was cringy that Drew would fix her mouth to say it. That's how she put it. She said the shit was cringy. Anyway, after she says that she's not doing anything with anybody, Drew goes and get a bunch of hookah cigars, I guess, and passes them out to the ladies and to Andy. She's promoting the guy's cigars or his hookahs. And Andy said, if you're promoting them, we all know what that means, okay? You're sleeping with them if you're promoting them because you ladies know what promotion means on this show. So come on, don't be stupid, okay? So that's how they ended it. Now the men come on. This was the best part of all 3 episodes. Why she hang out with Hot Dog Baby Daddy? Let's find. He point blank looks at Shamea and says, where's Gerald, child? I'm surprised. Where is Gerald? She said, oh, he's not here. He's at home with the kids, taking care of business. But he did buy me flowers. And Andy said, for the ladies? Why would he buy flowers for the ladies? He bought it for me. And he went, oh, okay. And then he said, you couldn't get a babysitter, okay? A $9 million house, you want to brag, you show up in the first episode with a Bentley or whatever the hell, Rolls Royce, but you can't buy a babysitter? He couldn't have sat behind you for 30 seconds? And she said, no, that's not his thing. And I just want y'all to know, because so many people were attacking me, but it would have taken nothing for Gerald to show up for her and sit behind her for 30 seconds. Clock it. Clock it. He wanted to make her feel bad, and she did. Okay? Oh my goodness. Anyway, listen. That was not a good feeling. That was not a good feeling for your boss to do that to you. I don't give a damn where you work. On the TV show, okay, at the Ford plant, at the General Motors, Burger King, okay, Starbucks. If your boss is saying some shit like, where is blah, 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 and you can't afford a babysitter, because at the end of the day, you know what they signed on that contract and you know what they are asking you for, even if the husband doesn't show up all the time in the scenes, because it was light work. I mean, we only got Charles for what? Charles was the most seen husband. He showed up in every episode, but it was for a couple of seconds. It was barely a whole bunch of filming. But listen, yeah, I thought that was bad. And again, it shut Shamea down. Shamea ain't leaving a woman in her home, period. Well, she left the nurse in her home with her husband. She got cleaning people. She got people that fix the yard. She's leaving a woman in the house, child. That was a problem. Anyway, now after they finish ragging on Shamea, they jump over to, oh, poor Drew and that damn text, child. They asked her, listen, or they at least asked Dennis and Ralph about the text. Did you really send Drew a text that said, I'd rather have my money, I don't want to F you? Now, at first, Dennis tried to just pretend like it didn't happen. I don't remember the text. But after a while, he had to come clean and say, at least that the text did exist. Even though in this space, you can tell that, in my opinion, you could tell that both that Dennis and Porsha were like, we're not going to go there. We're not going to make it a big deal. That was medical and cleaning, and I bet they were not young. Fashawn, have you ever seen the maid that Arnold Schwarzenegger had a son with? Put it in the chat if you've seen him, okay? I think the maid was older than both him and his wife, okay? Together. And he had been bumping and grinding that the entire time. Had a baby with the woman. The lady had a baby when still living in the house. The kid was damn near in college. You seen it? Okay. Thank you. Don't underestimate that type of stuff. I will never forget, child, on The Sopranos, when Tony's wife said, listen, I know that you have affairs on me, and I know the women are always younger, and I thought, you know what? Shit, I can't measure up. It is what it is. But a bitch with one leg, I at least have both of my legs. Okay, there you have it. Thank you. She was a sight for sore eyes. If you say so. Child, okay. Right, the beat down that Lionel Richie had. Okay, he got did he get hot water poured on him or hot grits? I know Al Green had hot grits. I think that Lionel Richie might have fallen to the same fate. But don't underestimate people, child. All they need is a little something different, okay? Anyway. Oh, Lionel Richie's side piece beat him down, child. I do remember that. Anyway, back to Porsha and Dennis. They definitely weren't trying to tell everything, but Dennis tried to lie at first and say that the text didn't exist. Porsha said, that's bullshit. It did exist. I saw it. Then Ralph said he saw it too. Okay, but they definitely gave Drew a pass. Okay. Broke his nose. That's a shame, child. They definitely gave Drew a pass, and that was unfortunate. And Drew looked like she was fighting for her life when Ralph was like, yeah, I saw the text. And not only did I see the text, he admits to seeing it. He also said that Drew came to him and said that Dennis was trying to get in the draws, and that really broke her. Out of that entire season, Drew kept it cool, nonchalant, passive aggressive, being her natural self. This was the first time she actually was fighting for her life when that happened. And you could tell. And I told y'all there was a problem with that text. I told y'all that Porsha did not make it up. It definitely happened. And that's unfortunate. It's unfortunate for Drew, but it doesn't matter. I like the fact that they understood we got to keep this shit clean and cute because there is a business. They got a business going on. Okay. And that was what that was about. So that's what friendship looked like if you really have a friend. Okay, they kept it cute. He said nothing of it. It was her husband that put it out there. My older sister, may God rest his soul. May God rest his soul. Rest his soul. She got my brother with some hot water. Ooh, got your brother-in-law with some hot water. And y'all called him the Pink Panther because his skin peeled off. That's some horrible shit. That's horrible. Oh my God. Anyway, I'm sorry. I hate that happened to Drew, but it happened. Whatever was going down, I told y'all Drew and Dennis were flirting. Promise y'all, don't care. But they were flirting. They were flirting. Porsha just decided to clean it up because she and Dennis had made a pact. Okay, that's her baby daddy. This is his first, I guess, music whatever he's putting out there with Drew, and they wanted to hit. I was able to read between the lines. I saw it. I know exactly what went down. I told y'all that's what they were doing. Anyway, after it was all said and done, Ralph tried to get her together. He says, listen, Drew is a great mom. I really like this Drew. Unfortunately, Drew, there's two sides to Drew, one that's on the camera and one that isn't. I like the one that isn't because she's a different personality when she's in front of the camera. Drew thanks him. That's how it ends, but it was really bad. I don't know. I don't know if people paid attention to that, but Drew got her ass handed to her. Okay. Again, Porsha got a bad rap this season. If you watch that scene, you can tell that they were having a united front, but it was to keep Drew okay. Even when Porsha gets up and hugs Drew and she's like, she does that deep breath before she goes over and goes, come here, and they hug. All of it was fake. Okay? And it is what it is. What else happened? Kelly, oh my goodness. So Andy also asked Dennis about dating Kelly and Britt. And he basically said, Britt was long before I even met Porsha, so I'm not even going to entertain that with y'all. He said, but Kelly only gave y'all half the story. She didn't tell you everything. Now, Kat gets the tone with Kelly because now she's stuttering. What do you mean I didn't tell everything? You know what he meant. And then it went from that to where she said before she never talked to him on the phone. She never did nothing. All of a sudden, he said 3 little words. You didn't tell everything. And Kelly is stuttering and talking about, well, we talked on the phone twice and we did this and it was mostly about business. Bitch, you tried it. Now, this is what I'm talking about with Kelly. Kelly, you can't be walking around talking about that man's husband and all that other shit when you are no better, okay? And it sounds like Kelly may have been talking to Dennis when she was married, okay? So there's that. Dennis runs the babes. Didn't Candy tell y'all that? Didn't Candy tell y'all that women love Dennis? That Dennis has a reputation? She found out that he was cheating and he didn't think she knew. He came into the house popping up at the mouth and she went to sleep. Child, anyway. At the end of the day, Porsha knew exactly what was going on. That's why she was able to smirk at Kelly and watch her squirm. Kelly's a mess. That's when we get to talk to Charles Oakley next. So after everybody gets dogged, Andy Cohen actually says, we got a real icon on the stage, okay? Out of all the husbands that's ever been on this stage, we got Charles Oakley on this stage, okay? Charles was very kind, very nice. Whatever Angela told him to say before he came out on the stage, he said it. Okay? I love my wife. I love my kids. Angela's a good woman. I'm going to do anything for her. She asked me to be here, so I'm going to be here to support. Where the hell is y'all husbands? Okay? You got a lot to say about me, but where's y'all husbands at? And he went down the line after that, okay? Addressing Shamea first, saying, yeah, you said something like, You met me at Neek's wedding. He said, you didn't meet me at Neek's wedding, bitch. Okay. I was there, and you might have been in the same room with 100 other people, but you and I didn't meet. Shamea tried to insist that they did, and he said, that's not meeting. We were only in the same room together, which completely cleared Shamea. She looked like a complete and total fool, child. He checked the hell out of Shamea. And I was like, I would have just shut up. I'm telling you now, I don't know why nobody knows not to do this. Do not get familiar with other people's husbands. And listen, he may not have even wanted to say that, but he's Charles Oakley, so it definitely could have just came from him. But that wife is going to tell that man exactly what to say to get your ass together. So you should not do that. It's not going to be helpful for you. Okay. But anyway, he cleared Shamea, and then after he finished with Shamea, he looked at Porsha and said, he looked at Phaedra and said, you too. You run around here saying that we know each other. I don't know you. And she said, I didn't say that you and I hung out. I said that it was 10 years ago, and I knew you when you was with Sheree. He said, you didn't know me though. You knew Sheree. You don't know me, and don't get too familiar with me. All the things that you're supposed to say, okay? All the things that you're supposed to say. It was unfortunate. And that's an old school, okay? That's an old school dude, because that's how I remember. That's the stuff that I would tell people. Don't do that shit. Let's see. I don't understand why folks argue over other people's partners. I don't think it's cute for men to have to gather women. Lies, more lies. It's not cute necessarily, but sometimes it's necessary. Phaedra and Shamea spoke way too much about Charles Oakley. And sometimes, like I said, they spoke just enough for Angela to go home and start crying, because according to Angela, or according to Charles, she was crying a few nights, he said. And when that happens, you're gonna make it right. Yeah, don't get familiar. That's all there is to it. Don't get familiar with other people's husbands. If you want to F your life up, that's what you'll do, okay? Y'all remember when Kenya got way too familiar with Apollo, okay? And you remember the lies he told in order to make it seem like it, she was doing inappropriate things. They didn't have to discuss them. But they wanted to make Angela look stupid. That's what they did. And then she went back home, not knowing up from down, left from right. He probably cussed her ass out a little bit. But at the end of the day, they was going to get it worse. It was not a good look. And especially when her husband wasn't even there. Okay? That's what happens. They tried to go against Nene Leakes and Greg. And everybody was like, I'd rather talk to Greg and blah, blah, blah. And Greg was like, I don't do that. I don't do that, okay? You go against my wife, you going against me. That's just the thing. We gang. And Porsha says that all the time. Even before Dennis came out, she said, is there anything I need to know? Are you going to pop something on me? Because I don't want to get out there and you and I don't look like a united front. You're sitting behind me. And for all the dumb shit that happened, unfortunately, Ralph was on the other side of the aisle. I didn't like that shit. Let's see. That was in the 70s. 18 years later, they got married, and then she passed in 2016. Till death do us part, I guess. Who are you talking about? I think that Kelly had... Ooh, you think so? Something happened where she told her makeup artist or her stylist that. Oh, thank you, girl. I appreciate that. That's sweet. That's sweet. But anyway, that was it. It was a good show. I really enjoyed this reunion. I have to say, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next season with Drew and Porsha. Despite the fact, I had been saying to y'all all along, child, and I got dragged for it, there was something going on with Drew and Dennis, whether he wanted to admit it or not. I do think that they did a little bit of flirting. I do. But I also think that... look, Dennis threw Drew under the bus when she was like, I asked you to tell Porsha. Did she not admit that she didn't talk to Porsha? When she said, I asked you to talk to Porsha? She admitted she didn't talk to Porsha. The entire time she had been, Porsha, you a lie, and I told you this, and da da da. And she said, I asked you to talk to Porsha. And he said, no, I'm not getting in the middle of that. You needed to talk to Porsha. That was unfortunate. Oh, Shamea waited 9 years. Yes, absolutely. I saw the pictures earlier today with Charles, Shamea, Gerald, Dominique Wilkins, and his bride. Also pictures of Gerald and Charles at the wedding. Yeah, so Dennis said, listen, I'm real cool with Gerald. And even though Porsha and Shamea aren't cool right now, I hope that they can get back together because me and Gerald are going to stay cool. Okay? That's how he said it. Maybe Drew did want free beats. Ooh. But she has a $6,000 purse, though. Oh, I'm sorry. I know somebody's going to get upset. I'm sorry. I'm talking about your sister. Okay. Okay. I'm sorry. Yes. The one who you guys were calling the paint, right? Okay. It looks like Gerald took a picture with Charles as a fan. Oh, okay. Okay. Ooh, that's unfortunate. Let me see what you guys had to say on the poll. I asked y'all who got dragged the most this episode. And it looks like you guys are saying Shamea. Shamea took it on the chin all 3 episodes. Unfortunately for Shamea, she's coming in at 48%. Coming in at 29% is Phaedra. Y'all thought that she got dogged when Charles told her, you don't know me, and basically keep my name out of your mouth. And then Drew came in at 23%. So there you have it. Okay, please review Shamea's video made after the reunion with her mother and her aunt. Shamea was making excuses as to why she couldn't get her point across and was still shading the ladies. Okay, I'll watch. That $6,000 purse hurt your feelings. Okay. Listen, I understand. I wouldn't do it, but I understand. You know what I'm saying? Drew is young. Her feelings was hurt. I just want her to be able to talk, walk in her truth, whatever that may be. Pink Panther. Y'all called the man Pink Panther after his skin came off, child. Anyway, y'all, that is it. That is all. I love the show. I hope y'all got a chance to see it. Keep hitting the like button. Talk to me in the comments. All the things, okay? Thank you to Lady D Keys who came through. And of course, all of y'all, I appreciate you for rocking with me. Hit the like button, share the video, follow me on all my platforms at DYANAROZAY. And I will check y'all on the next one. Bye-bye.